Last I heard, I think Randy Rosenblum is a finalist for the Orange Lutheran football job. I'm Tarek Fatel.
That's a bad rumor. I'm hearing it's Tarek Fatal as the finalist. I'm Randy Rosenblum, though, and this is SoCal Prep Report. Tarek Fatal. He's on this show. You asked for this. He's on with Jim Hill on Sundays on Channel 2-9. He does his own stuff with Sports Illustrated. He also writes for the Daily News. And now I'm watching the championship games this past weekend, and I'm going to talk about those. And guess who the commentator was? Tarek Fatal. And last but certainly not least, he has the Tarek Fatal Factor on Monday night online. Quit it already.
I just don't sleep.
Give some other people an opportunity in the broadcast field.
I will try. Well, I mean, apparently I'm going to be the next football coach at Orange Lutheran now.
That's what I hear, yeah.
So I'm going to I'll try to package it all together.
If anyone can do it, it's Tarek Fatal.
No chance.
All right, let's talk the truth, which is a rarity around these parts, but we will talk truth here. Let's talk about the open basketball final in the southern section in the CIF. And no surprise, Sierra Canyon was the top-ranked team in the state. In fact, one poll has them number one in the country. But it wasn't easy against upstart Harvard Westlake, 59-53. Trailblazers, the Open champions.
Well, I think for the most part, I've been saying this all year, that David Rabibo, the head coach at Harvard Westlake, is probably doing his best coaching job because his team has talent, but nowhere near the talent he's had in previous Open Division appearances or even victories. So to take this roster and get to the Open final and then give Sierra Canyon a game. I mean, yes, it was a 6-point margin at the end, but Joe Sterling hit a three ball on Brandon McCoy to make it a 3-point game with like 17 seconds to go. I mean, it was real tight there for a second. So kudos to the Wolverines. We could see this matchup again in the regional final.
We could, although I'm not confident with Harvard Westlake because, as you say, they're not super talented. Joe Sterling had to work for his 18 points,
Yes.
Didn't shoot the ball well. He's the star of the Wolverines. And I thought Andre Chevalier's team played tremendous defense. We talk about the names and Martinson, the third scorer on the team, having a big game. But it was the defense for me of the Trailblazers that won the title.
Well, they want to set the tone defensively. Andre Chevalier always tell you that they're defensively they want to touch. Like, they're very physical. They're okay with, they'll hand check you. They want to see what they can get away with. And if the officials are going to, let them play, that's always going to work into the advantage of Sierra Canyon. They want to play fast. They go like 8 or 9 deep on their bench. So they're going to wear you down physically and with their numbers.
So one championship for Sierra Canyon. They got another one this past weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit. How about in D1? Crane Lutheran, the number 1 seed, gets by a very good J. Sarah team. Again, Hunter Kaplan of Crane Lutheran had a tremendous tournament. So Crane Lutheran, the favorite, is the champions of D1.
They were the number 1 seed. First-year coach Austin Loeb gets the CIF title. Really cool. I mean, really nice guy. Was on the staff under Nate Klitzing, who's now at Orange Lutheran, and he gets pretty much promoted to be the head coach. And look what he does. He wins the CIF championship in his first year, and a high-level one at that. But Hunter Kaplan was terrific, but it was Nick Giarusso at the end, who, I mean...
The game was tied at 52, and he took the game over.
I've been singing this kid's praises all year long. He's just a true basketball player. He makes all the simple plays, which tends to be an anomaly nowadays. Everyone wants to dribble the air out of the ball. This guy advances the ball, swings it fast, good post entry, hit some crucial threes, a couple free throws, and they ended up winning the game, really because of Nick Giarusso's play down the stretch.
Yeah, he scored the last 7, and the game was tied at 52, so he made it happen for Crane Lutheran. D2, Bishop Amat played very well in this championship game. Bishop Amat over Hesperia. Now, Hesperia is the team that knocked out Mater Dei in the tournament, and so that was a nice win for them. But now they step up against Amat, and Amat clobbers them, as you can see. Aiden Shaw was the big gun for Amat.
Yeah, I think what might have happened with Hesperia is, look, in the playoffs, you get these big wins, and you can't get too emotional.
Right.
You know, it's like Hesperia beat Mater Dei. Oh, my God, that you could argue that was their championship. And then you realize, wait, there's another game to play. It's actually the one that matters. And so Bishop Amat, I think, now they knocked off Roosevelt, but it didn't get as much love, right? Knocking off Mater Dei. So I just think the focus level was more there for Bishop Amat, and it showed in the final.
Next game, D3 for the boys in the southern section. A couple teams we don't really cover here. Murrieta Mesa over Elisa Nigel. There it is, 65-58. So we'll move ahead to D4. We'll talk about the D4 game. Colony over Trabuco Hills. Now, Colony, I saw. This Fendi Thomas is a stat stuffer for the Titans of Colony. He's a really good player. In this game, he had 11 rebounds, 13 points, 7 assists. Colony's a very athletic team, although they're not very big, but they're good.
Yeah, it's a team I don't really know much about. I do know that they took down Shell Hevitt to get to the final, one of your favorites. But that being said, I know they have a new coach in Tony Davis, correct? The coach from Servite. And look, you coach at the Trinity League, even though he didn't do very well at Servite, you know your hoops. So I'm not surprised that they were able to X and O their way to a championship.
Hey, Shal Hevitt won a state game, so they did that on Tuesday night. They beat Rancho Bernardo. So Shal Hevitt.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Shalom to Shal Hevitt,
There you
because
go.
now they got to play guard tonight.
Yeah.
That's not going to be easy. Guard's the #1 seed in that division, which is D3 in the state. And we'll, again, have some state news for you later in the program. How about D5 here? Sarah of Gardena, a winner, and it was not an easy game.
Yeah, I mean, Del Rey League, Sarah of Gardena, known for its football, didn't have a great year. But look, how about basketball, trying to make their way onto campus to get a little lore in Gardena. So good for them. Pilibos actually is a kind of a funny program. Remember, they had Anto Balian last year, who was averaging like 30 points a game and went to Pepperdine. And so he leaves, and then they make a CIF final. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, a lot of times the star will leave and everyone is starting to share the ball.
That's
and they
true,
play
too.
better basketball.
That's true, too.
All right, here's the next division. This is a really nice story about Laguna Hills. They win the title over Ramona. This is D6. Laguna Hills a couple years ago was 1-22.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
So I'm here to help out.
Oh, okay.
1-22 2 years ago. That's the first title in the school's 48-year history. 1-22 2 years ago.
Yeah, again, this isn't a program I know too much about. Division 6 is pretty low down there, but nevertheless, it really, look, I always think about this too. I mean, winning the Open, winning Division 1 is important, but 10 years from now, 15 years from now, nobody cares. And so you can say you won a CIF title. That's what matters. And so that lives in infamy when it comes to your high school when you win a CIF title. So kudos to Laguna Hills.
Rialto wins the next division we want to talk about. There it is, D7, 57-31. So we give Rialto a lot of credit. Their big win, obviously an impressive performance in the championship game. Lionel Madrid with 18 points and 8 rebounds for the winners. So that'll take us to D8. A lot of games here to discuss.
Yeah.
Victor Valley over South El Monte, not a close game there. So Victor Valley gets the W. They dominated the glass. I got the numbers there. They out-rebounded their opponent, South El Monte, 51-33. You do that, you're going to win games.
Well, I think if the other team is missing a lot of shots, there's just simply some more rebounds.
It makes
to
it
grab.
a lot easier,
yeah,
doesn't it?
so I don't know.
All right, D8, sounds like a drink, but D8 had Colton over Pacific, 55-42, and that'll take us into the LA City section. We'll jump into the open division for the LA City, where Palisades has been the #1 seed going in. They were the prohibitive favorite to win the championship, and they did that. The Papula brothers combined for 36 points. They win it 75-56 over second-seeded Cleveland. This was no surprise. We talked about it on the show last week. We anticipated this result.
Yeah, I think we all knew on the court what was going to happen. However, what's probably the bigger story is obviously like the community, right?
Right.
Dealing with the fires and it being a year removed from that and those kids being back on campus. That's really what's important here. And so there is a feel-good moment when you can lift a city championship, let alone at the highest level. So good for Jeff Bryant and the Dolphins, but I know that they're hungry. So they're alive, for the state playoffs, and so we'll see how far they can go.
They haven't had a home game in a long time. They have 42 games without playing at home.
They started playing home this year. I went to the first game.
Okay.
That's where I saw Fairfax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which really impressed you, by the way.
Yeah, man. Gosh, did they look bad that day. So yes. So Palisades, I think since about the second week of January, has been able to now host home games.
Okay.
And for multiple sports. I know they had wrestling meets there, the girls basketball team, so on and so forth. So they've been able to play at home.
That's good. Granada Hills and Chatsworth, the rivals in the West Valley League, and Granada Hills has beaten them a third straight time. So GH wins the D1 title.
That's my guy, John Bent, the coach, was a graduate, back in '07 and was a standout himself, and now he's back. He's been the coach there for, I want to say, 5 or 6 years, and he finally gets his hands on a CIF title. You're talking about a guy, John Bent, could coach in the Mission League, and I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. He's that detailed. He's that much of a basketball junkie, but he just really enjoys kind of like the regular high school experience. And so he's a phenomenal coach. I'm not surprised that he won a city championship.
Now, you're my friend, and I think you can coach football in the Trinity League. In fact, I think you're going to get the Orange Luther job. Right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a call here maybe during the show.
You got your phone on?
Oh, yeah, it's on.
Hope so.
We'll see.
How about Sylmar and Bordescoto? 33 years there. He's the dean of coaches in the LA City section. Gets his 4th title. He's running that Loyola Marymount style up and down, and his basketball team responded. He told me this week, they were a bad team in the middle of the year, and that style turned it around for him.
So I did talk with him this week. It's his 4th city title as the head coach at Sylmar. Again, like you said, 33 years. So his first title he won in 1998, and this 4th title comes in 2026, which is a 28-year gap. I did a little more research, and that's not even the biggest gap. Now, it's not a gap because he won in between.
Right.
But from first to recent, it's 28 years. But Harvey Katani did it 30 years, and Ed Azam did it 29 years.
That's Fairfax and Westchester, respectively. And, of course, as you look at Escoto, the ability to adapt. He adapted over the years, and he adapted this year, changing his style, and they get a championship. D3 in the city, Verdugo Hills over RF Kennedy. That's not to be confused with the team in the Valley. Verdugo wins it. Kennedy's had a pretty good basketball program, so that's a nice win for Verdugo Hills. In D4, Franklin over San Fernando. These are not basketball powerhouses, so it's good to see Franklin get the W there, and it was good to see San Fernando in the finals. Then we move ahead to D5, and here's an interesting story. Canoga Park wins the championship. Van Nuys has had the more heralded program, but to me, Canoga Park's a story because they finish well under 500, and they get a championship.
Well, okay, how can I be nice here? The city section, pretty much everyone makes the playoffs. It's not like the southern section. There's 500 plus schools in the southern section. I don't know, 480 of them or something. I don't know. Gosh, it might be like 508 schools play basketball.
Right.
Boys and girls. So you don't have enough spots. In the city, they've got 80,000 divisions and only so many schools. So everyone pretty much makes the playoffs, and that's why you get teams, below 500 that can make a run.
Time to check out the ladies. We'll start in the southern section. We had the best game of the whole week. It wasn't even close.
Oh, it was so fun.
Sierra Canyon gets the double. They win the open in both the girls and the boys. This was the best game. Kalina Smith is magical for Ontario Christian. She had 30, although she did not shoot well from deep. But on the other side, Jersey Robinson was phenomenal, 32-12 for the Blazers.
Listen, girls basketball, the score, it was in a big arena. Okay, so generally, you got to give me a couple of seconds here. Generally in a big arena, high school basketball, these teams, as good as they are, with the depth perception, they can be horrible from shooting. Wasn't the case. You get these girls on these floor, they were making NBA range threes. And then you get a score of 69-62 for a girls basketball game. And it was tight. There was a rally, a fury at the end, a comeback per se. What a fun game. Probably the best display of high school girls basketball in the country on one court that night. I mean, you would be hard to find a game that competitive with that much talent and shot making.
Kalina Smith may be the best player in the country, the guard from Ontario Christian.
Is.
If she's not the best, she's certainly the most entertaining. The way she handles the ball, her ability to get to the rim. She's a short young lady, but she's unbelievably quick. She's Kyrie Irving for the ladies, isn't she?
She's really, she plays bigger. Like, she plays big. She really is, she doesn't shy away from contact. A lot of and ones. I mean, her head fakes. I mean, she's just so good. Kyrie Irving's actually not a bad little comp. That's a good comp. I'm almost thinking, like, he's not as good, but almost, remember Nate Robinson?
Oh, yeah.
How little and electric he was? She's kind of like that, because she's just so athletic, and then she shoots it from range. Really, really special. She is the best player in the country, but boy, Jersey Robinson had the best player on the court that night.
She wanted it, didn't she?
Yeah,
Jersey really wanted it.
She really did.
All right, let's move ahead. LaSalle over Valencia. That's Valencia from Valencia, because there's multiple Valencia teams. That's a nice win for the girls of LaSalle. Tamaz Thomas had a nice game. She had 15 points, for the Lancers, who win the title. That takes us to D2, Crescenta Valley over Saugus. Good win for the Falcons there, 51-43 winning D2. D3, St. Margaret's over Murrieta Valley by a big score there, 16, 57-41. How about the freshman, Jaden Winton, with a lot of points, 18 for the winning side. That's the Tartans of St. Marguerite. So it's good to have a freshman lead the way and get a championship to boot. Let's move ahead and we go to D4, El Dorado over La Cañada, 41-27. Delaney Shireen had a nice game, a big game, 18 points for the Golden Hawks, who win the title. Moving ahead to D5. Boy, do we have a lot of games today. Bishop Diego and a barn burner. Couldn't find any information on this game. No, it's a 42-41 game. Brewers is out of Burbank. Don't know how it finished. I think, Tark, you might have an idea how it finished.
Well, I just know I did a story on the Burroughs coach, Biggie O'Gonian, and she's not just the coach at Burroughs. She's also the head coach at LA Mission College. She's literally coaching high school varsity and women's college basketball at the same time. And so I was kind of rooting for that story. It would have been great for her to win a CIF title. I think she said she's been to like 6 or 7 finalists, semifinals, and has never gotten to a final. And she finally got to them, but she fell short by what looks to be a point. So,
1 point.
Oh man, tough break, but a great season.
Savannah, a big winner, huge here. They win by 21 points, win the championships of D6. That'll take us to the D7. Again, there's 9 divisions here. JF Kennedy wins this championship on the girls' side, 55-28 over Laguna Hills. Moving forward, we have a couple more scores for you. Sure over Orange Lutheran, 44-32. And the final one, I think we're at 9, right? Yeah. Sierra Vista, 55. Desert Hot Springs. You might have the weather, you might have the heat, but you get the loss in the championship game. Sierra Vista wins it. So now let's move ahead to the LA City section and their girls' open championship game. Birmingham had great presence throughout the tournament. We thought they had a chance here. This score stunned me. I thought Birmingham had a chance, but Westchester, led by Savannah Miles, blows them out 60-37. That being said, Tark, Birmingham is all freshmen and sophomore players.
Yeah, they're going to be. They'll get one here in the next couple of years if those girls stick around. But I also too was surprised by the score. Westchester's team's young too. I think their best player is only a junior, so they'll probably meet again at least one more time.
Moving ahead to the next division, which is D1. Kennedy over top-ranked El Camino Real. That's a nice win for Kennedy High School. ECR was the favorite.
Yeah, 2 Valley teams. And again, we're talking about different levels of basketball, but El Camino Real, a West Valley team, and JF Kennedy, a team over in Granada Hills, gets the job done.
Now the only score that really matters.
Oh, please.
North Hollywood, the Huskies. Yeah, I went there. So Huskies win it over Harbor Teacher and the division game here, the little bit lower division, but I'll take a championship. 59-55 for the Huskies. I'll move forward. I don't want to, rub it in at all. The next division, George Washington, Prep over Gardena. That's a nice game. Those are 2 normally squads that play at a higher level. Washington Prep used to be a real power in the city, so they've dropped down and they get the championship there. Then we go to Banning and Bravo. Banning a losing record, but they win the crown. Here's another situation, Tark, where you talked about it in the city, where a Banning school on the girls' side wins the championship.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, look, I said it earlier at the kind of top of the show, it almost doesn't matter what division, you always just want to win a city or a CIF Southern Section championship, and it's special. You're going to remember it. What level it is, okay, yeah, like semantics, but to go through the season and accomplish what you can and lift the trophy at the end is really the goal. And so these ladies and young men have done that.
Legacy wins the final division in the city. They have 5 divisions plus the open. Legacy in a really good game over LA. Legacy, by the way, is in Southgate. They win the game 33-32. So that's our rundown of all the scores. We're almost out of breath here from giving all the championship scores. But it was a lot of fun, and really, if you capsulize all these tournaments, it was really good basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's championship basketball. Look, these kids, the season starts in November. That's when the official games and practices, but you're working year-round. You play summer league, maybe you play fall ball. So, again, to have the season capped off with a championship's really important. And then on top of it, a lot of these teams are still playing in the state playoffs. So it is a long season. And so you have to give yourself a pat in the back for just even being around at this point of the year.
Let's talk about the state. Let's start with the city here. Palisades look really good in their opening state game on Tuesday night. So the Dolphins get a victory. So I think that's impressive. And Westchester, the girls champion, lost, which kind of surprised me. They lost to Francis Parker, and they got blown out. So where in your mind is the city? The boys' side looks good with Pally. Are they just an aberration in the whole division is down, and Pally's just good?
Off the top of my head, is Palisades in Division II state?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that just tells you something. So they're the open division city champion. And the CIF state office goes and looks at where they belong, and they put them in Division II, which is pretty low. Now, that being said, I think that's a division they can win. So you could see Palisades, like I said in the show already, what a great story it is for that community. Well, how even greater would it be if they won a state championship, which is hard to do at any level because it just takes such a long level of focus, right, game after game. I think they're in the mix to do that.
And again, we're going to get into a lot of scores on next week's show from the state, but I want to talk about the major things that happened in the state earlier this week. One of them is Mater Dei knocking off La Mirada.
Yeah.
La Mirada was the #1 seed
In Division I.
in D1. Mater Dei on the road as the 16th seed knocks them off. That shocked me.
So, it was shocking. Mater Dei was a semifinalist in Division II and got moved up to the Division I state playoff. So some of the method of the madness isn't exactly great, but that's how these matchups unfold. And to me, it's just another indicator of the parity. That Mater Dei, which didn't have a great year, can be the 16 seed, go on the road to La Mirada, who was the #1 seed and an open division team in the section playoffs, and beat them. So
they beat them 88-79.
Good for the Monarchs. Yeah, good for the Monarchs.
They beat them by 9 points, 88-79. The other big story in the state, and then we'll go to some other topics, is Damien over Inglewood. Now, isn't it a shock that they won the game 84-65? Damien has a tremendous program. They do a great job there. But it was the conclusion Tuesday night to the career of Jason Crow Jr., who finishes with 4,718 points. That's the most in the history of California. That's 38 points a game, and he averaged over 44, I think it was this year. But that's 38 points a game throughout his career.
What was the number? 47-13? Is that what you said?
4,718.
Jeez, 4,700.
That's almost 5,000
no
points.
one's touching that. Yeah, that's gonna unless some rule changes down the line where you can play 40 games in a year or something like that, which is not going to happen. That is never going to get touched.
Let's talk some.
That's what I got.
All right, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's not going to.
Of course, they said Abdul-Jabbar's record would never be broken, and LeBron broke the scoring record. So you never know. They may change rules. There might be a 4-point shot, that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's what I mean. It would take either a game, agreed. Okay, I agree with you. But it would take some catastrophic change either to the game. That's a good point, like changing like a 4-point shot. That's a great call. Or I think the max is you can play 28 games in a season. If it went to you can play 40 games in a season, maybe some 4-year standout comes along and breaks it. Maybe.
All right, let's talk city section soccer. And we don't talk much about the soccer. El Camino and Birmingham, they went 1-1 and then it went into penalty kicks. And as you can see, ECR won the shootout. But really the story here, and also the Cleveland girls won, and we'll talk about them as well, so we'll give them some credit. There's a score over their rival from Granada Hills. So congratulations to those Open champions. But the story in soccer in the city was forfeits.
Sad.
So I think there was 6 or 7 forfeits where teams are going into the playoffs, and then they got yanked. The championships.
Yeah, getting yanked from the championship games, man. It happened in the Southern section, too. Calabasas, I think Division II or Division III, was set to play a CIF championship game. So what's happening right now in both sections is there's self-reporting going on because it is a CIF rule, and everyone knows it. I sympathize because it sucks because it's their kids and they should be playing. But I also, every adult in these rooms knows the rules, especially the coaches and administrators. And so that's why they're self-reporting. You cannot play an organized game while in season. So basically, these kids are playing MLS Next games or adult league games with referees, and that's against the rules.
Stupid rules.
It is, but a rule nonetheless, man.
If the kid,
If you're in the playoffs and you're playing for a championship, why play in the game? That's stupid too. If they know the rule, why would you risk it?
No, it's a mistake by the kids playing in the games, but the rule's dumb. The
rule is dumb.
If they make their commitment to their high school, they should be allowed to play wherever they want, as long as it doesn't interfere with high school. But we're not going to get into that.
Well, those kids are making bad decisions, and what gets screwed is the kid doesn't have to sit out. The whole team gets yanked.
I know.
And that's another issue. That could even be another. It's like, just make the kid sit at home.
Right.
Like, just let the team play.
I agree with you.
The whole team have to. No, I know you agree. I just think that's part of the CIF where I feel like they're not. There's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And I think they need to understand that enforcing the letter of the law is too harsh. You need to enforce the spirit of the law, which is the kid did wrong, make them not play, but let the kids that have nothing to do with it play in the CIF championship game.
Flexibility is what we need.
Yeah.
All right, let's, as we always do, have some football news for you. Who is going to be the Orange Lutheran coach? That's been open for a long time. This is a job that's been available.
Like
we
2-3
kidded with
weeks
Tark
now.
getting the job at the top of the show. Maybe he will. But I know you have an update along with yourself. Who are the other finalists?
I'll give you some finalists. I think I know it's going to either be Troy Thomas, former Crespi and Servite coach, standout coach, by the way, great coach. It's going to be or Frank McManus, who I think is really kind of the third of these three. But he
led Mater Dei to the state title.
National championship, actually. And then he got fired, which is, kind of a bull in a china shop personality, but nevertheless, good coach. So he's up at Cardinal Newman now. So that's two. And then the third one would be Ray Fenton of Los Alamitos. It's going to be, to me, between Troy Thomas and Ray Fenton. Those are the two names that I believe are, one of those guys is going to get the gig.
Let's talk about Jeff Bailey. Here's a coach that's now at Beverly Hills.
Cha-ching!
Okay, that's my point.
Okay.
Most of us can't afford to live in Beverly Hills, but now Jeff Bailey can because he got the bag.
Good.
The bag goes to Jeff Bailey. Tell us about Bailey and why he got so much.
Yeah, so basically the former superintendent at Yorba Linda, where Jeff Bailey was coach there since 2009, is now the superintendent over at Beverly Hills Unified School District. Well, Beverly Hills has one high school, if I'm not mistaken. It's Beverly Hills High School. They've had not one winning football season since 2010 and like 5 or 6 0-win seasons. No football tradition. So Jeff Bailey, who is one of the most respected high school coaches in all of Southern California, played at UCLA, just a great dude. Wow, you're going to be the coach at Beverly Hills now? And we find out that he's getting paid $200K a year to be the high school football coach at Beverly Hills. And he's also like, he's got some district job that they gave him that like pays. So that's how it all comes packaged. It's like $205,000 a year, and he got hooked up, man. So good for him. And that's the thing. People like, I don't think it's embarrassing. Like
no.
Here, last ad. If he were to go for this OLU job and get hired, it'd probably be about the same paying job. So it's not that these football jobs don't pay that. It's that he's getting that pay at Beverly Hills. It doesn't mean he doesn't deserve it. But I don't know about at Beverly Hills. That'd be like you going over to North Hollywood and being the coach of the Huskies and getting paid a couple $100,000 a year to coach football.
Could happen. You never know.
Yeah, right.
He'll be neighbors with you in Beverly Hills. So
oh,
that'll be great.
Stop it.
Okay. Mater Dei's football team struggling to fill out their football schedule. That's happened for the last 3 years.
Yep.
We'll see if they can get an opponent. And the last ad before we leave you, the Rams on Wednesday became the favorite to win the Super Bowl by getting St. John Bosco's finest. Trent McDuffie, a tremendous cornerback, a weakness of the Rams, all-pro a couple times, great for the Braves. Trent McDuffie in L.A. again, a homecoming.
I want to say he won maybe one or two Super Bowls with the Chiefs too. I mean, this is like a pedigree move for the Rams. So kudos to them bringing a guy back home, and we'll see how he impacts the team.
Looking forward to the state basketball finals coming up. It's going to be a good tournament going forward. Of course, we got the regionals this week.
Regionals, and then Sacramento, the Golden One Arena, which is where the Sacramento Kings play, March 13th and 14th, all on Spectrum. All on Spectrum.
And you're part of that.
Yes, I'll be calling the first 3 games on Friday and the first 3 games on Saturday.
Last ad before we leave, I still once again got to congratulate Sierra Canyon to win the Open Division in the boys and the girls. Phenomenal accomplishment in basketball. That's it. You get ready to throw the paper For Tarek Fatal, I'm Randy Rosenbaum. That's a wrap on SoCal Prep Report. More hoops next week.
Right here, I'll eat.
Right
so
here.
I'm going to toss it to you, and you're going to toss it back. Right here.
Okay.
Quick.
That's the end of the
I
show.
hit the apparatus. Win some, you lose some.
I don't know. You seem to be good. I mean, you're doing very well. You're